What's up everyone, Josh from Xtreme Truck and Auto. Today I got the WJ back in because my radiator has sprung a leak. So we're going to be throwing that bad boy in today, and let's go ahead and get into this install. First thing we're going to be doing, or that you'll want to do, is let the vehicle cool down, because you don't want this to be pressurized, because if you pull this off while it's hot and pressurized, it'll fire that cap off at a crazy speed and spray hot coolant everywhere, and you guys don't want to get covered in that. I've seen it happen, and it's not a fun time. So once when it's cool, on the bottom corner of the radiator down here is a little like petcock, and what that is you just basically twist it and drain the radiator out. I've already done that step. I'll show you it once when we pull the new one out of the box. The first thing we're going to be doing in here is I'm going to pull this pipe here to give me a little more access down in there. We're going to pull this hose off that runs to the tank over there. We're going to lay that off to the side, and then we're going to remove these radiator hoses. We have one upper hose here, and then our lower radiator hose, which you can kind of see it right there. It goes from there all the way down to the bottom of the radiator. So we got our lower hose pulled off the radiator, our upper hose, and then the reservoir hose is taken off. Now you may need a pry bar or screwdriver to kind of break these free from the radiator. Luckily I did not have to do that. So our next step is, if we peek right down in here, is for the electric fan. There's an electrical connector. We're going to go ahead and disconnect that. That'll allow us to pull this up, and then underneath right here are two transmission lines. Now, one thing I'm going to do on these lines is very carefully remove them and try to stick them up, so that way the transmission fluid doesn't come out of them. We are going to lose a little bit. That just is what it is. So I'll probably have to order some of that. So I'm going to get these pulled off, and then that electrical connector undone. So I'm changing up the order of operations. Before I get the transmission lines off on the bottom, I'm going to pull this support piece. What it is here is we have a couple of tins, and then let me grab this just so I can make sure I know. This is going to be either a T27 or a T30. So we're going to pull the two tins on either side, and then these, and that'll allow us to kind of push that back and get it up out of our way. So one thing I did forget to mention is to get this core support piece off, we needed to pull the latch. No big deal. It's two 13mm bolts that go on here. Now mine are going to look a little different than factory because I do have the HK off-road winch plate on here. So just keep that in mind. Now I'm going to remove this here, which will give me access to the transmission line, which is tucked up right here. So I'm going to try to actually bust those free, because I think I'll lose less fluid than pulling the lines down there. If not, worst case scenario, we'll go under the Jeep and pull the whole radiator out and then mess with it that way. I think all that holds this on is a little Christmas tree here, and then it just snaps into place. So I'm going to get that pulled off, and then I'm going to fight with these transmission lines and bring you guys back in when I figure out if they're going to come off or not. Feeling these transmission lines are going to be a little bit of a battle to get off this radiator. So I'm going to try to get the radiator out before I deal with that. What we need to do is, there's a 10 mil, let me see if I can get it. There's one right there, and then there's another one with that big washer right there. What that one does is hold your AC condenser on, so we'll get that off, and then we'll pull the radiator, and we'll be able to push this AC condenser back towards the front of the Jeep, so that way we can get it out of our way. So we got our radiator pulled. I was able to weasel it out past everything with the shroud on. A lot of people were taking the shroud off, but these bolts right here are a bit of a pain to get to because of the frame rail. So I thought it might be possible, and it was, to take it off without removing the fan. Now this is an electric fan. If you guys have the hydraulic fan, it's definitely not going to be possible because it attaches to the water pump. Now I have a new radiator hose, the lower hose. I've already put a new upper hose on this. So we're going to go ahead and replace the lower while we're in here. So I'm going to do that. And then while I'm doing that, I'm going to let some Freon and stuff soak on these, hopefully to be able to get them off without twisting them. Fingers crossed we can get that done. I'll bring you guys back in and let you know exactly what it took to get these off. All right, so I got the transmission lines and fittings hooked up. and the 4 10mm that hold the fan on. Since I got it out with the fan on, I'm gonna put it back in with the fan on. In theory, it should slide back in. Now, one thing I did have to do is on the old radiator, which is over here, I did have to remove the fittings from the transmission cooler and cut this off. I made sure the radiator was the same before I cut that, just in case. And then I took the brass portion of the fitting over to a vise, because the new one came with them in there, and was able to use heat and a little bit of freon and got those undone. So those are tightened down, ready to go back on. I'm gonna drop this in. Now, one thing that was a bit of a challenge because of the winch plate on here was doing the AC condenser, getting that to slide into position. So what I'm gonna make recommendations on you doing is, if you plan on putting on one of these winch plates and your radiator is the original manufacturer, I'd go ahead and do it then and save yourself some hassle. So I'm gonna get this on, get it back into position, and bring you guys back in. Oh, and before I forget, the new radiator hose is on. It just runs right through there like so. So we got our radiator back in. It is bolted in with the bolts over here and over there. And then we did get the AC condenser back in. Now that's been the hardest part of this entire install. The reason why is because of that winch plate. Now, what I did figure out is you can actually come down under here, and I had to use a screwdriver to get the AC condenser started into the tabs on this radiator. And then once when I did, I just set the radiator where it was supposed to go and gave that condenser a little pop with my hand, and it fell right into place. So just keep that in mind. So now I am going to go ahead and reconnect up the transmission lines and the hoses to this, and we'll get to putting all this back together, and then I'll show you a valuable tool that I always use when I do any sort of coolant, like a thermostat, heater core, any of that stuff. One of these funnels is like 40 bucks. I highly recommend you get one, so I'll show you that once when we get to that step. All right, we want to make sure the radiator hose isn't touching anything it's not supposed to. We're good there, we're fine here. That's hooked up. We're good down on that clamp right there. So, all right. Everything's installed on the bottom. One thing I am gonna check before I go to fill this is that little petcock, which I mentioned to you guys earlier, it's right here. It allows you to drain your cooling system. So if you wanna flush it or do any of that stuff, you can just do it without pulling the hose off. And also it's the lowest point, so it gets majority of the stuff out. Next up's our core support and our hood latch. I'm gonna get that in. The way I got that off was I just basically kind of pulled everything away and was able to slide it out and in. So I'm gonna do the exact opposite of that. And that should pretty much be it when it comes to the installation. I do still wanna show you the filling and the burping process and all that. So let me get this core support in, and I'll bring you back in for all the filling and all that fun stuff. So this is the little coolant funnel I was talking about. Now I've already done the bleeding process, but what there is there's a bunch of fittings that come with it, and you find which one works for your radiator, cap, all that stuff. And then you fill it up with coolant and you put the cap on and you let it run. And essentially what it does is, this is now the highest point, so it's going to force all those air bubbles out, and as soon as the thermostat opens, it'll release pretty much all the air out of your system. Now I do like to give it a few revs, so that way it'll burp the heater core and all that. And then also I have my heat running just to make sure I'm getting heat on the inside. But yeah, these things are worth their weight in gold. It's got this little stopper, so once when you're done, you put that in, you can take your funnel, transfer that over to your coolant bottle, and that's it. So that's it when it comes to installing a radiator and burping the system. Not as bad as I thought. It took me about 2 hours, even with the interference issue. I guess I would call it an issue with the HK Off-Road winch plate. But yeah, if you guys like what you see, make sure you're subscribed, and I'll catch you on the next one.